The views and opinions expressed in The Fact Is with Hollis Grant are those of Hollis Grant and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Droids Canada Network. Droids Canada Network does not take responsibility for any content or position produced by Hollis Grant and his show. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Fact Is. I'm your host, Hollis Grant. And on this week's episode, we are going to be talking about none other than the COVID booster shot. Most of the world is ending COVID lockdowns. China only has one city in lockdown currently. British Airways has ended their mask mandate on flights. America has ended their mask mandates. And COVID restrictions have eased in countries around the world. But not in Canada. You see, in Canada, the provincial government, or the similar as the state, would care for and take care of medical concerns. But then there's also the federal government, which can control and restrict access in and out of the country. So currently in Canada, if you do not have a vaccine, you cannot get on a plane, you cannot get on a train, you cannot leave the country. Now, taken from an article on December 8th, 2021, the Pfizer CEO stated that they're going to need, or the population is going to need, a fourth round of COVID vaccines sooner than later. He's already at this point pushing for more government spending on the most profitable drug of all time, the COVID vaccine. But how did Canada treat this? On January 11th of 2022, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, said that Canada will have enough COVID-19 vaccines for all those eligible to receive a fourth dose if needed. Now, this is prior to restrictions being lifted in provinces across Canada, such as the mask mandates or the vaccine passports for places. But we know that the fourth vaccine is on its way because Ontario has confirmed that now they'll offer and are offering the fourth COVID vaccine to people that are required over the age of 60 and above, and people that are eligible. Reading from an article from CTV News dated April 1st of 2020, and no, this is not an April Fool's joke. You may soon be offered a fourth COVID-19 shot, what's known about second boosters. More Canadians may soon be offered a fourth dose of COVID-19 vaccine, a move most experts agree could be vital to containing the potential damage of another case surge. It's not like this has happened before in the past, and we've seen increases, but nonetheless, let's try it again and see if we get the same result. Canada's advisory panel on vaccines is expecting to update its guidance in coming days as concerns mount that the country could be on the brink of a sixth wave. U.S. regulators approved additional boosters this week for Americans aged 50 and older if it's been at least 4 months since their last dose, as well as certain younger people with severely weakened immune systems. Here's what scientists say about what could be ahead for Canada's next stage in the COVID-19 fight. The National Advisory Committee on Immunization suggests anyone moderately to severely immunocompromised get a fourth dose 6 months after their third shot. Many provinces have already prioritized this population and set their own guidelines on booster timing and eligibility. As a number of provinces move to expand access to second boosters, a spokeswoman for the Public Health Agency of Canada said Thursday that it plans to publish the NACI's guidance in early April. The NACI has been asked for advice on the potential use of second booster doses in elderly populations at higher risk of severe diseases, Anna Madison said in an email. In addition to immunocompromised people, Ontario offers fourth doses to residents of long-term care homes and other congregate assisted living settings, while Quebec seniors aged 80 and over became eligible this week. Meanwhile, British Columbia Health Minister Adrian Dix signaled Thursday that the province is looking to extend more boosters to vulnerable groups, such as long-term care residents, with details expected Tuesday. Experts warn that current vaccines appear to be a poor match for the more infectious Omicron variant. The goal of the booster shot is to restore protection that naturally fades over time, says Matthew Miller, an associate professor with McMaster University's Immunology Research Center. A primary vaccine series trains the body to identify a virus and defend itself. Eventually, the immune system's frontline fighters, antibodies, retreat, but it retains instructions on how to quickly deploy its defenses if it encounters the virus, says Miller. Boosters, reactive to the immunological army, he says. The problem, says Miller, is that these vaccine drills were designed to recognize the original version of the COVID-19 virus, and Omicron's heavy mutations make it better at evading detection. So a lot of people here are concerned about vaccine after vaccine after vaccine. Well, we have the fourth vaccine, we have the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth. Where does it stop? And how much is too much to be safe for the human body? All valid questions. And today, we have an article from USA Today for this brave individual that has stood up and received his vaccine boosters not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 10, not 20, not 30, not even a mere 40, 50 times, not even 60 times. You see, he's surpassed 70, 80, 90 times that a man from Germany has been vaccinated to sell forged vaccination cards. In a brilliant story from the USA Today, a 60-year-old man allegedly had himself vaccinated against COVID-19 dozens of times in Germany in order to sell forged vaccination cards with real vaccine batch numbers to people not wanting to get vaccinated themselves. The man, or hero, from the eastern Germany city of Magdeburg, whose name was not released in line with the German privacy rules, is said to have received up to 90 shots against COVID-19 at vaccination centers in the eastern state of Saxony for months until criminal police caught him this month. The German news agency, the DPA, reported on Sunday. The suspect was not detained, but is under investigation for unauthorized issuance of vaccination cards and document forgery, the DPA reported. He was caught at a vaccination center in Ellenberg in Saxony when he showed up for a COVID-19 shot for the second day in a row. Police confiscated several blank vaccination cards from him and initiated criminal proceedings. It was not immediately clear what impact the approximately 90 shots of COVID-19 vaccines, which were from different brands, had on the man's personal health. German police have conducted many raids in connection with forgery of vaccination passports in recent months. Many COVID-19 deniers, now again, that's the USA Today's term, COVID-19 deniers, refuse to get vaccinated in Germany, but at the same time want to have the coveted COVID-19 passports that make access to public life in venues such as restaurants, theaters, swimming pools, or workplaces much easier. Germany has seen high infection numbers for weeks, yet many measures to rein in the pandemic ended on Friday. Donning masks is no longer compulsory in grocery stores and most theaters, but is still mandatory on public transportation. In most schools in Germany, students also no longer have to wear masks, which has led Teachers Association to warn of possible conflicts in class. There is now a danger that on the one hand, children who wear masks will be teased by classmates as wimps and overprotective, or on the other hand, pressure will be exerted on the non-mask wearers. Heinz-Peter Mattenberg, the president of the German Teachers Association, told the DPA. He advocated a voluntary commitment by teachers and students to continue wearing masks in class and on school grounds, at least until the country goes on a 2-week Easter holiday. Health experts say the most recent surge of infections in Germany, triggered by the BA2 Omicron subvariant, or the variant to the variant to the variant of the variant, may have peaked. On Sunday, the country's disease control agency reported 74,053 new COVID-19 infections in one day, while less than a week ago it was reported as 111,224 daily infections. Overall, Germany has registered 130,029 COVID deaths. So this man put his body on the line for science. And the science says we don't know about his long-term health. We won't know about his long-term health because we're not going to hear any more about this story. We will continue to monitor this situation and try to dig up some information on COVID-19 man who has put his body on the line for science, receiving multiple injections from multiple brands to convince the world that vaccines are safe. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Fact Is. I am your host, Hollis Grant. You have yourself a wonderful week.
Dan, what happens every Thursday?
That would be DCR Droids Canada Radio.
And what time is it out on Thursday?
That's from 9 till 11 p.m.
Dumb question. Where do you find it?
You find that at accessradio.ca.
And what's the best part?
It's